We're
James.
here again for the Caring Support Podcast. Today I'm with Joseph Jongsma, who's President and CEO of Caring Support, a cup of Joe.
Hey,
So
hey, James, how are you?
I'm absolutely awesome, but he might have gathered that.
Yes.
So here's the thing, Joe. We're going to ask you a few questions, as you know, any interview goes. And what we'd like to do is start off with talking a little bit about your background so people can paint some context. Tell us a bit about yourself and your entrepreneurial journey, if you don't mind, please.
Wow, where do I start, James? I know you know a lot about me, which is fantastic. So you definitely know my journey, and it starts, you know, the entrepreneur bug got into me about 28 years ago. That's kind of showing my age, but I actually went to school for hotel restaurant management, to tell you the truth. So I was in the hospitality industry, serving and bartending, and really going down that road from an education standpoint, and that was going to be my future. But honestly, I got the sales bug, and someone had come into my bar, James, and basically said, "Hey, you would be great at sales." And I'm like, "No way, not doing it. Forget it. I was that guy, right?
Right.
Just, well, anyways, his name is Terry. He was in my bar every single day. He would have a couple Budweisers, and after he worked out at Good Life, and yeah, he just approached me to, come out and try sales. So eventually, his $2,000 a week paychecks kind of enticed me to go that route, and I decided to do that. So I put my tail in between my legs, and I started knocking on residential and commercial doors, selling commodity of electricity and natural gas and telecommunications. So with that being said, it was nerve-wracking, but I knew it was something that I needed to get, out of my safety zone and kind of just go out and try that. Well, that ended up to be the best decision I've ever made in my life. I ended up becoming the number one sales agent out of 400 salespeople, and it was amazing. With that, you get noticed when you do great things, and you build you and go down that road. I got noticed, and somebody said, "Hey, how about you become a distributor?" And I'm like, "What's that? How does that work?" And he goes, "Well, you're gonna have to build a business. So you're gonna have to employ people. You're gonna have to hire people. You're gonna have to, build the business." And I'm like, "Okay, well, do I have your support?" Yes, absolutely. So I had that guidance, that mentor, that support of a person to help me through that real big business adventure that I went on, my very first one. And that was called ProBiz Solutions. I hired 137 independent sales agents. I had a staff of about 8 people, and I grew that to multi-million dollars a year. Big success. Well, things kind of changed there, James. The recession hit. There was no commodities, no nothing. Nobody wanted to pay anybody for a big period of time. And when you have independent contractors on your roster, I unfortunately had to lay them all off. So I went from hero to zero, to tell you the truth. I was doing really great, had really good revenue coming into my family home, and all of a sudden it went to zero. So I took some time off. I really got zoned into Google and wanted to look for something that was reoccurring revenue. And my next business adventure was going to be revolved around recurring revenue. So at that point, I ended up getting involved with in the merchant services industry. I started my career with collective point of sale. It was a very quick 6 months, got to know everything and all the ins and outs, and ended up meeting soon to be my business partner, Tariq Al-Ansari with Zoomeron Paystone. So I was the co-founder of Zoomeron. We got acquired and then rebought the company back, rebranded Paystone, and had huge success there. So I did take the initiative to leave that and basically, wanted to go out and develop some new things, to create some new opportunities. And that's where I'm kind of at today. So about myself, I have a family of 4 wonderful children, 3 girls, 1 boy. I have a granddaughter that's almost 2. She's absolutely amazing. I get the privileges of waking up and saying good morning to her every single morning. Yeah, all my kids are older. One is in the funeral business. A couple of the others are in other endeavors, but yeah, that's really my family background. I love golf. I love vacationing with my family, and yeah, I guess that's it.
Cool. So it's funny because, as we know, I know this whole story and it's great. And there's a lot of times that when you've worked hard to build something and then you were to go from the hero to zero, as you said, and that's hard, really hard.
Really
But
hard.
really the lesson for everyone to appreciate, respect is how you came back from that.
Mhm.
And, and then built this next company. So, now coming back from that. So the question I've got for you is how did you come up with this idea of caring support?
Well, with me being the executive VP and in charge of all of sales and recruiting that 137, independent sales agents, which trust me, I interviewed thousands and thousands of people over the time. I knew that there was an issue with HR and recruitment. It's very much a black and white ad with a black and white resume. You had to literally call them, hunt them down, try to get them in, schedule them for every hour. They would ghost you. It was just a brutal experience in regards to really, understanding who's on the other side of the fence that I want to meet, right, and bring into my business. Um, so I decided to look at the HR issues that we're facing today, and burnout, ghosting, and a bunch of other things that are happening in HR makes it very, very difficult to land that great employee that you can bring into your environment, but more importantly, retaining them long term is becoming more and more difficult. So I want to correct HR. I want to build beautiful profiles, professional profiles from the candidate side, attract healthcare organizations to utilize the platform, and as well driving those post-secondary institutions to come on board. So that's streamlining all three channels, which has not been done with allowing them to communicate and everything over the platform.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And it's interesting is because you're looking at this predominantly from the employer side of things initially. And then before you know, you develop empathy for the other sides. So you think about the candidate and you're saying, okay, they have a lack of visibility. They have all these different challenges. And so, what caring support and your thoughts on this was saying, hey, why don't we give everyone an opportunity here? And now that we're in a candidate market, it's more important than ever. And, so with that in mind, bringing the schools on board as well is great because it streamlines the whole process for everything from start to finish. So I think it's great. I'm very lucky to be part of this too because I've been able to make it my own. And really it is me because it's connecting people. And this is what I do. So,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
it's great. Anyway, so after coming up with this idea, um, how did you manage to gather together a group of individuals to dedicate themselves to something to this level? Because everybody was working full time, and yet were asked to work on this on the side if they were interested. So, what did you think was the thing? Was it your passion alone?
Well, obviously I had this vision in building the next business. I didn't want to go down the traditional routes that I'd already taken and holding equity and taking a lot longer finding the right people for the business. And I really wanted to, what I have a huge passion for is building people. I have a saying, if I build a millionaire, I automatically become a millionaire, right? And, the more people you can build, the more opportunities that you will receive as an employer, right?
Right.
So, um, really, I interviewed quite a few people. I knew that, when you build a business, eventually in your year two, year three, you're hoping that you have all the pieces of a pie to get you through the next 2 to 3 years. Well, that was my initiative right away. I knew I needed an operations, a finance, a product owner, product manager, the IT, front end, back end. I needed marketing, I needed sales. So I individually interviewed a bunch of people and brought them on, and made sure the whole pie was there to build the business. So these are all individuals that have tremendous strength in high-profile jobs all across Canada and the U.S., and they decided to partner with me, like absolutely own equity, build this out during COVID, after hours, during hours, all that kind of stuff. But it's tremendous to have the team that we have, right, James? It's absolutely incredible. We all have great chemistry, communication is right there. Everyone gets along. Really, we haven't had any issues. It's been fantastic.
It's amazing how much time is saved when you don't have to worry about butting heads and issues of personality conflicts and things of that nature. As crazy as that may sound, that is absolutely happening everywhere on a regular basis. So, now with something this, it sounds all rosy and great, but obviously there were some challenges. And so
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about these challenges that you faced at first, or even right up till now.
Yeah, I think, we haven't really had a lot of challenges. Everything has actually gone really, really well. We did have some IT issues, and we resolved those fairly quick, and knew we needed to bring in some other powers to be to help us through some of the IT, issues we were having. But overall, I think, everyone stayed in their lane. They know what they own in regards to, what their daily activity and responsibilities within the company are. And like you said, James, everyone stays in their lane. Everyone supports everybody on the team because you have to, right? Since everyone is invested, and time is money. Everyone's put in their time. They've invested that time, to create an opportunity. These, a lot of people with, the 9 of us, sorry, this is a lot of our retirement plan, right? Building a fantastic businesses, leaving it, down to other generations to take care of and build even further. It's exciting, but yeah, we really didn't run into a lot of issues, and we still haven't. I think, one thing that, where we're at in the business today is funding. We're raising funds. We're a pre-seed fundraise right now, trying to get, some of the, the stakeholders on our payroll working in this business full time. A lot of them are working part-time at this, and we really need focus at this stage. So some of the struggles that we face, and you're well aware of, is just raising funds. It's kind of new to me. It's nerve-wracking. It's intimidating. But I'm getting the hang of it, and I'm actually enjoying it. So, I look forward to, bringing opportunities forward for care and support.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because, when you paint a picture and say, here is these X amount of people, it's actually bigger than that. And they don't, and for the sake of the audience here, I'm going to tell them that we have other people in our marketing that may not be a partner in the company, but still integral to our success, who have been absolutely incredible. Beautiful people, just really dedicated, committed, and purpose-driven, right? And then also we have 4 people in our advisory board, and having the mentorship of them, but with their experience in healthcare, marketing, the schools as well, it's phenomenal. And you say to yourself, in this short a period of time, we're going to say short relatively, even though it has been a lot of work, there's been a tremendous amount accomplished in a very short period of time, which is amazing. And we need someone who leads by example, and that's what you do. And I love that about you. It's a tremendously great quality.
Thank you, James.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. So let me ask you this: what's been all the lessons you learned, all the business, the leadership, the various lessons you've learned? Has there been any others that you've maybe learned in the process of doing caring support?
Yeah, I'm dealing with 8 very strong personalities as partners within caring support. So really listening and understanding what their vision may be is really critically important. It's not my show. It's our show. It's our client show. at the end of the day. So, as we talk a lot, James, it's about listening to our customers, listening, doing round tables, really, narrowing it down to what needs to be fixed, what needs to be introduced, all those kind of things. So I've learned to listen a lot more. Instead of talking, really just listen. And that's something I'm grateful for. And to just honestly deal with the types of people that we do have on our team, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I know in a recent podcast I mentioned that we have a tendency to listen to reply rather than listen to understand. And it's really important that we do that, right? But what's great too is we've been doing the focus groups on candidates. We've been talking to our clients regular basis. We've been, meeting with schools, healthcare influencers. It's endless. And the reason why is because we want to make sure that we're going to provide the best possible experience for everybody on this platform, whether they're the candidate, the healthcare organization, or a school, and even immigrant settlement agencies, because that's also huge. And what this becomes, and this is brilliant, is that it's about bringing everybody in on one place. So you're not working in silos and you're not disjointed. You're all together. And that's a beautiful thing. So any other words that you want to add, Joe, from your point of view as to anything related to what we're talking about or something else?
Yeah, you know what? Business is tricky. It's not easy. It's tough. It's hours and hours and hours of alone time and thinking and strategizing and really, trying to figure it out. It's not easy, but it's so rewarding. It's incredibly rewarding being an entrepreneur and building your own business and trying to get to where you need to be. So I think I want to leave it to any other entrepreneur out there and you think you weren't to be in sales, but people have told you should be in sales. You should probably try to be in sales, because you never know where you can go from it. A lot of people in sales want to be business owners. And, we need to figure out how to allow them to become business owners and really understand what their vision and what their wants are. And I'm excited. So take risk, take that risk. You know what I mean? Whether it's a 1 year, 2 year kind of a risk and you're going to see where it goes, just do it. You'll never, ever know if you don't do it. And once again, it can be rewarding. And surround yourself with great people, right? Network, go out there. And if you're not a good networker, listen to James's video on networking. You'll become a good networker. So, just take risk and enjoy the people around you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because I always said that everybody's in sales and they still know it. And, very often when it becomes to business, they get all uptight and worried and everything. In the meantime, if they love the sport or they love something else in life, they will talk about it to the degree where you're like, oh my God, I want to do that. I want to do that with you. I want to, whatever it would be. So they're selling it to you. Yeah. Right? It's no different. But the truth is, this has been great. I love our conversations all the time, but this was more about beneficial to our network, because I think it's really important that we humanize who we are, that we're not just a platform. When people work with us, they're also working with us as people, not just the tool that is the platform, which is phenomenal. But it's because it was built with love. It was built with people who said, oh my God, we're really listening to you and we want to do what is needed. So thank you so much, Joel. And next week we'll have this part of this podcast up with Joe, where he's going to tell us more about his Rockstar ways.
Awesome. Love it. One last shout out to my wife. If it wasn't for my wife, I don't know where I would be. And I want to thank her very, very much for putting up with me. As you know, that's a big task, James.
Thank you. Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you, James. Thank you.
See you.